Look, I'm going to say something that most travel channels won't tell you. Flying economy after 70 is a completely different experience than it was when you were 50. Your body has changed, your needs have changed, and the advice that works for a 30-year-old backpacker will absolutely not work for you. And if you board that long-haul flight without the right preparation, you could spend the first 3 days of your trip recovering instead of enjoying it. So today, I'm sharing 13 must-know tips specifically designed for travelers over 70 who want to survive and actually feel good after a long economy flight. And before we get into it, I want you to stick around until tip number 10, because that one tip alone could literally be the difference between a vacation you'll remember fondly and a medical emergency at 35,000 feet. I'm not being dramatic. I'm being honest. Tip number 1. Talk to your doctor before you even book the flight. I know this sounds obvious, but you'd be shocked how many people skip this step. They book the tickets, they get excited, and then 2 weeks before departure, they mention it to their doctor almost as an afterthought. That's backwards. Before you commit to any long-haul trip, sit down with your physician and have a real conversation about your specific health situation. Ask about whether your current medications need any timing adjustments for crossing time zones. Ask whether flying at altitude could affect any conditions you're managing, such as heart issues, respiratory concerns, or recent surgeries. Some people have conditions where flying genuinely requires extra precautions or even a specific type of medical clearance. Others might need a note from their doctor to carry certain medications on board. Getting this conversation out of the way early means you can plan properly and fly with real confidence instead of quiet worry. Tip number 2. Choose your seat with ruthless strategy. Don't just click whatever seat is available when you book. On a long-haul flight, your seat choice will make or break the entire experience. For travelers over 70, the aisle seat near the front of the economy cabin is almost always your best option. Here's why. You need to get up and move regularly, and an aisle seat means you can do that without having to climb over strangers or wake someone up from a deep sleep. The front of economy typically means you deplane faster, walk shorter distances through the aircraft, and often have slightly more legroom, depending on the aircraft configuration. Avoid the back of the plane if you can. It tends to be noisier near the engines and bathrooms, the ride can be bumpier, and it feels more chaotic. If you have significant mobility concerns, bulkhead seats at the very front of the economy section offer a lot more space, though the trade-off is there's nowhere to store your bag at your feet during takeoff and landing. Tip number 3. Get compression socks and actually wear them. Deep vein thrombosis, or DVT, is a blood clot that can form in your legs during long periods of sitting, and it becomes significantly more of a risk as we age. This is not something to brush aside. Compression socks work by gently squeezing your lower legs to help blood keep moving back toward your heart, instead of pooling in your veins. They come in different compression levels, and for flying purposes, a mild to moderate compression level is usually recommended. Put them on before you leave the house, not at the airport, not on the plane. The goal is to have good circulation from the moment you start sitting for long periods. Pair this with the habit of walking the aisle every hour or so and doing simple ankle rotation exercises in your seat, and you're doing a lot to keep your circulation healthy throughout the flight. Tip number 4. Master the art of hydration. Aircraft cabins are notoriously dry environments. The humidity inside a plane is often well below 20%, which is drier than most deserts. For younger travelers, this is uncomfortable. For older travelers, it can genuinely affect how you feel for days afterward. Dehydration compounds fatigue, worsens jet lag, causes headaches, and can make your skin, eyes, and throat feel terrible. The simple solution is to drink more water than you think you need. Before you board, drink a full glass of water. On the plane, accept every offer of water from the flight attendant, and consider bringing an empty refillable bottle to fill up at a water fountain after security. One thing to be mindful of, alcohol and coffee both accelerate dehydration, so if you're going to enjoy a glass of wine or a coffee during the flight, match it with extra water. And if you use eye drops or nasal spray, this is absolutely the time to use them. Tip number 5. Pack your carry-on like a survival kit. The checked bag is where your clothes live. Your carry-on is where your comfort lives. And there's a real art to packing it correctly for a long-haul flight when you're over 70. Here's what should always be in there. All of your medications in their original containers with clear labeling, more than you think you'll need in case of any delays or diversions. A neck pillow that you've actually tested at home and that supports your head in a way that works for your neck. Noise-canceling headphones or good earplugs, because cabin noise over many hours is exhausting. A lightweight blanket or a large scarf because planes can get surprisingly cold, and the provided blankets aren't always available. A small bag with your skincare essentials, including a good moisturizer, lip balm, and eye drops. Healthy snacks because airline food timing doesn't always align with your body's actual needs. And one more thing, a change of clothes, or at least a fresh shirt, because arriving after a long flight in the same outfit you've been wearing for 14 hours rarely feels good. Tip number 6. Get your sleep strategy right before the flight. This is something a lot of people overlook until they're sitting exhausted on the plane wondering why they can't fall asleep. Sleep on long flights doesn't happen by accident, especially after 70, when sleep patterns can already be lighter and more fragmented. Think about your flight timing. An overnight flight is generally the easiest to sleep through because your body naturally wants to be resting during those hours. If you're taking a daytime flight, managing sleep becomes trickier. Consider whether a mild sleep aid approved by your doctor might be appropriate. Make sure you have the neck pillow, the eye mask, and earplugs or noise-canceling headphones ready to create the best possible sleep environment within the constraints of economy class. Recline your seat as soon as it's appropriate to do so. And if you're crossing multiple time zones, try to align your sleep and wake times on the plane with the destination's schedule as much as possible to soften the blow of jet lag. Tip number 7. Dress for the entire journey. What you wear on the plane matters far more than most people realize. The goal is layers that you can easily add or remove, fabrics that breathe and don't wrinkle badly, and shoes that you can slip on and off without bending over repeatedly. Avoid tight waistbands, restrictive jeans, and anything that puts pressure on your abdomen when you sit for extended periods. Loose, comfortable trousers or travel pants with some stretch are ideal. Slip-on shoes or trainers work perfectly because your feet may swell slightly during the flight, and you'll likely want to remove them when you settle in. A cardigan or light zip-up jacket gives you the flexibility to stay comfortable regardless of how warm or cold the cabin gets. Dressing comfortably isn't giving up on looking put together. It's being smart about what your body actually needs. Tip number 8. Move deliberately and consistently throughout the flight. This circles back to the circulation point from earlier, but deserves its own full discussion. Sitting still in a cramped seat for 10, 12, or even 15 hours is genuinely hard on older bodies. Stiffness sets in quickly, joints start to ache, and circulation can suffer in ways that create real problems. Set a timer on your watch or phone if you need a reminder, but commit to getting up and walking the length of the cabin at least once every 60 to 90 minutes when the seatbelt sign is off. When you're sitting, do gentle exercises. Roll your ankles in circles, flex and point your feet, squeeze and release your calf muscles, and do gentle shoulder rolls. Some airlines actually play an exercise video during long-haul flights, and while it might feel a bit silly, doing those movements genuinely helps. Your future self at the destination will thank you. Tip number 9. Eat strategically and don't overdo it. Airplane food timing and portion sizes don't always serve older travelers well. Heavy meals at altitude can leave you feeling bloated, uncomfortable, and sluggish in a way that makes the flight feel much longer than it is. Try to eat lighter than you normally might. If the airline meal options include a lighter choice, take it. If you have special dietary needs such as low sodium, diabetic-friendly, or vegetarian options. Most airlines let you pre-order special meals when you book, and these are often higher quality and served first. Supplement with the healthy snacks you packed in your carry-on if you get hungry between meal services. And remember the hydration connection. Eating salty airline food without drinking enough water will compound the dehydration problem significantly. Tip number 10. Here it is, the tip I promised you. Know the warning signs you must never ignore at altitude. This is the serious one. On a long flight, your body is under subtle physiological stress that you might not notice because of the noise, the distraction, and the tiredness. But there are certain symptoms that require you to alert the flight crew immediately. No hesitation, no waiting to see if it passes. A sudden sharp pain in your calf, especially if it's accompanied by swelling or redness, could indicate a blood clot. Chest tightness, shortness of breath that comes on suddenly, or pain that radiates into your arm or jaw are potential cardiac warning signs. Sudden confusion, severe headache, numbness on one side of your face or body, or difficulty speaking could indicate a stroke. Airlines carry medical equipment and have protocols for in-flight emergencies. Flight attendants are trained to respond, and in serious situations, pilots can divert the aircraft to the nearest airport. The absolute worst thing you can do is minimize these symptoms, assume it's nothing, and wait. You are allowed to advocate for your own health at 35,000 feet. Use that right if you need it. Tip number 11. Use the airport itself strategically. The experience starts long before you board the plane, and for travelers over 70, airport navigation can be genuinely exhausting if you don't plan it correctly. Most major airports offer mobility assistance services that you can request in advance when you book your ticket. This means a wheelchair or electric cart can be arranged to help you get from check-in to the gate without walking. What can sometimes be a mile or more through a large terminal. Even if you're fully mobile, this service can be a game changer on the departure side because it preserves your energy for the actual flight and the destination. Don't let pride get in the way of practical comfort. On the arrival side, requesting assistance means someone will meet you at the aircraft door and help you navigate immigration, baggage claim, and the exit without the chaos and exhaustion of doing it entirely on your own after a very long flight. Tip number 12. Protect your immune system for the duration of travel. Airports and airplane cabins are environments where a lot of people are moving through a shared space, touching the same surfaces, and breathing recirculated air. As immune function naturally shifts with age, catching a cold or respiratory infection right at the start of a long-awaited trip is both common and genuinely miserable. Some practical steps make a real difference. Wash your hands thoroughly and frequently throughout the journey. Carry a small bottle of hand sanitizer and use it particularly before eating. Try not to touch your face. If someone nearby is clearly unwell, don't hesitate to ask a flight attendant whether it's possible to move to a different seat. Wipe down your tray table, armrests, and the screen in front of you with an antibacterial wipe when you settle in, because these surfaces aren't always cleaned as thoroughly between flights as they should be. Getting enough sleep before your travel day begins is also genuinely one of the better ways to support your immune system heading into the journey. Tip number 13. Build a real recovery plan for after you land. This is the tip that turns a difficult trip into a great one, and most people completely skip it. You cannot fly for 10 or more hours and immediately launch into a full day of sightseeing or back-to-back meetings or family obligations and expect to feel good. Your body needs time to readjust, and building that into your travel plan is not weakness. It's wisdom. If at all possible, arrange your schedule so that your first day at the destination is genuinely light. Give yourself time to take a short walk outside in natural light, which helps reset your circadian rhythm. Eat a proper meal at the local mealtime, even if your internal clock is telling you something different. Drink plenty of water and avoid the temptation to nap for too long during the day, as that tends to make jet lag worse. A short rest of 20 to 30 minutes is fine, but try to push through to a local bedtime if you can manage it. And if you're traveling for something important, try to arrive at least a day early so you're not performing at your worst for the thing that matters most. Flying after 70 is absolutely possible, and it can be genuinely wonderful. I want to be clear about that. Older travelers are often some of the most experienced, most prepared, and most appreciative travelers in the world. The point of everything I've shared today isn't to make you nervous about flying. It's to give you the actual tools you need so that the flight itself doesn't steal energy and comfort from the trip you've been looking forward to. So let's quickly recap. Talk to your doctor first. Choose your seat strategically. Wear compression socks. Stay aggressively hydrated. Pack your carry-on as a comfort kit. Plan your sleep strategy. Dress in layers for comfort. Move consistently throughout the flight. Eat light and smart. Know the warning signs that need immediate attention. Use airport assistance services. Protect your immune system. And build a real recovery day into your arrival schedule. If you found this helpful, hit that like button because it genuinely helps more people who need this information find this video. And if you're planning a long-haul trip and have a question about your specific situation, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to help you think it through. There's also a video coming up next about the best destinations for travelers over 65 that's absolutely worth watching before you decide where you're going. Safe travels, and I'll see you in the next one.